Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This video is our Walking Dead reaction for Season 10, Episode 13. This is not your typical episode of The Walking Dead. It was weird at times, it was conclusive at others, it was sad.
And it took us on a trip.
Really, I want to know if they're going to mass market whatever it was that Virgil gave Michonne after all this. With all the weird music and Kevin Carroll's there, it felt like this was actually watching The Leftovers instead of The Walking Dead. It was bizarre.
It was bizarre, but there were some interesting takeaways from this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we have to sort of take this also as the farewell to Michonne and Denai Guerrera as a major part of The Walking Dead, the TV show, and that is always going to be sad. I mean, she's not an original cast member, but she does feel like one at this point.
Yeah, she really does. She's such an important part of this group and this cast. It's hard to say goodbye.
It is. I think it's a good episode to say goodbye with her, because I think they give you a lot of closure. They give you a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of just interesting stuff going on. But before we talk this all through and try to go through our Michonne therapy together, if you do like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any other Walking Dead coverage. I think we both sort of called this on some level that they weren't going to kill off Michonne. They're not going to write off this character that way.
Yeah, I mean, I really only saw a couple ways that they were going to be able to do this in a way that was going to be believable, that she would ever leave her children. There was no way that she was going to leave Judith and she was going to leave RJ unless someone was holding her prisoner, she was dead, or she found out that Rick might be alive. And this, for me, finding out that Rick might be alive and that there was a little bit of hope that he could be out there, was the way that I wanted to see her go. It made sense. She would leave her children for that. It was a really nice touch that they actually had Judith be the person that pushed her to go. That's like, it's okay. You need to go. You need to find them. You need to bring them back.
I don't know if it would have worked if Judith wasn't on board with it, to me. Yeah. Because I feel like if it was just sort of Michonne sort of saying peace out and not really having a conversation, or Judith being upset, like, I think I would get over it. Like, I wouldn't be like, this is unforgivable. I would not be like I was when they killed Carl, which I'm still completely unhappy about.
No, I think they did it in a really good way, because it wasn't Michonne asking Judith, hey, I'm going to go do this. It was more of Judith saying, Mom, you need to go and do this. And not only am I okay with it, but I'm telling you, like, you need to do this.
There was a certain charm as well, and hearing the code names, hearing the maturity that Michonne treated Judith with, that she was still a parental figure, but she gave her a lot of respect in that conversation and made Judith feel like she was important and that she was valued. And now we have Michonne seemingly heading north. We saw that scene at the very, very tail end of this episode, which is very much fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that the two people that she decided to help, that one of them was wearing a cowboy hat. I loved that. That was such a nice nod towards just that feeling of hope that she actually is going to find him. And I know we don't know what's going on. The Rick Grimes movies still seem to be out in the ether. We don't know a lot about what's going on with them just yet. Or if she would maybe think about being part of them way in the future. We don't know. Everything is really up in the air right now. But the idea that she's out there looking for him, that guy with the cowboy hat, I was like, all right, you're giving me the hope. I like it.
I think The Walking Dead is a little bit more secretly hopeful than we give it credit for at times. I don't think they want us to be depressed. I think Michonne is going to be in the Rick Grimes movie somehow. I don't know how. I don't know what it would look like. Maybe she's not in the first one, but I could see Michonne being like, in a lot of the Marvel movies, they have like that post-credit sequence. maybe the post-credit sequence for the Rick Grimes movie is like Michonne beheading a zombie and being like, Rick, I'm here,
Yep.
boom, and then you're just left being like, when's the next one of these?
The only problem is if they ever do meet up, there's no real circumstance, unless they're being held prisoner, that both of these parents do not go back for their children. And that's kind of where it's, you have hope that she's going to find them, but I know that if she does, they're not going to leave their kids.
It's a really tricky balance I think they're going to have to figure out. And I mean, I like the way the episode ended. I think this makes sense. I'm sure, we could, if nothing else, Judith can give us like periodic updates on Michonne here or there over the next couple of years, so it doesn't feel like she's just gone completely.
Yeah.
I mean, provided, of course, that we don't have some situation where the walkie breaks down and then Judith can't communicate, and then it'll sort of become its own kind of thing.
Yeah, and I know that eventually they will lose the distance. I mean, walkies can only go so far, but I mean, they did say they're going to stay in communication until they can't anymore. But I think Judith and RJ are in really good hands with everybody. Uncle Daryl, everybody's going to help, take care of them. It is a community. So I know, like, Michonne feels like it's going to be okay. She's got permission from her daughter. Not only that, her daughter's encouraging her. Her daughter wants her dad back too. So, I mean, she's doing this for everyone.
I also like how they sort of slid in there the news that Alpha is gone, and I think that probably gave Michonne a little bit more permission, that it's sort of like, okay, the big bad has been defeated. Yes, there is still another big bad out there. We'll talk more about that in a preview video, but yeah, I think this was a fitting end to this character, and really throughout all of this episode, we just had kind of constant tributes in some way, shape, or form to the world that Michonne was a part of, but also the impact that a lot of these people had on her as a character.
Yeah, I mean, at first we were going through sort of this drug trip with Virgil and everything that was going on. I was like, where is this going? Like, why is this happening? But it was there to be able to be a vehicle, to be able to bring us back to some of these moments and really understand the impact that not just Rick, but this whole group has really had on her. Because when we first ran into her, she really was just a wandering soul. And now we're at a situation where she looked back at all of this and through this trip and sort of saw herself that if she didn't really meet up with this group, if she met up with Negan first, how different her life would be. And I think that was really, really important to see. Now, during this drug trip, there was actually two spots that I feel that maybe they could have gone in a little bit of a different direction that might have had a bigger impact on me, at least. And one of those was that Negan gave Michonne the power to pick the person who was going to be killed at that ceremony where we first saw him come out swinging his bat around, trying to show everybody who's boss. I feel from what we know of Negan that he never would have given up that power to anybody, not for really any reason. This is a new group of people. He wants them to know that he's in charge and that's it. So I had a bit of a hard time buying into that. But then after I got past that, I was like, all right, I'll buy into this. So here's Michonne. She gets to pick the person who is going to be killed. I thought that this was a really cool, intense scene, especially when you saw that moment where they actually had Michonne and Rick's faces like looking straight at each other. I was like, oh man, this is going to be really good because they're going to have Michonne pick somebody who's really influential in her moving forward and having been able to get out of where she was. And I couldn't figure out who it was going to be. I'm like, is it going to be Rick? Is it going to be Daryl? Like, who is it going to be? Then they had it that she picked herself. And I was like, okay, well, that's all right. But it's not, to me, as impactful if she had picked someone else.
I wonder why they didn't have it happen. I wonder if it's sort of like The Walking Dead doesn't want it. This is what I mean by I don't think they're as brutal sometimes as they like to put on, because I almost feel like they didn't want to sort of shatter anyone's heart to the extent where they see Michonne doing something, even if it's fictional, even if it's imaginary, where it felt like it was a little bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a really big missed opportunity, because seeing that shift and just what that impact is that Rick and Daryl and Carol, everybody is made on her life. They basically saved her from being that person. So I would have liked to, if they were going to have it where Negan was going to give up the power, all right, I'm going to have to buy into it, then pay it off, man. Don't have it where she's just going to face herself as the person she chooses.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it was something that I'm going to really look back at and think, okay, this was a big flaw in the episode, but I think it is something, like you said, that could have been done a little bit differently. And, you know, I think in general, there's a couple of sequences like that I think they could have played out a little bit more. They could have fleshed out a little bit more, but I did love the editing on that Rick and Michonne thing was awesome.
It was so good.
Like, they did such a good job of making it seem as though certain people had come back for this episode, even if I don't think they really did.
No, they did a very good job with that edit. Like, I felt it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, oh my god, who is she going to pick out of this? Is it actually going to be Rick, the person who, like, really changed her and helped her love and love again? Like, she thought she was done for, and here's the man that showed her what family is once again. Is this the man she's gonna pick?
Yeah, I did like seeing her kind of adopt different personas. So much of this episode was a lot about what could have been, and I think you see it sort of play out with the past sequences and then the present, where Michonne is not only communicating with Judith, she's helping these other people who Virgil has sort of trapped. And I mean, Virgil is, by the way, just like a hot mess in this entire episode.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a disappointment. I wasn't really sure what direction they were kind of going in with Virgil. And at first I was like, okay, so she's here on this island with him. Clearly things are not what he said they were. So what's really going on? And then he's like, trapping people prisoner for what feels like not really a strong enough reason. It kind of felt like they lost their way a little bit in the middle of the episode, but that beginning with everything with Virgil and what was going on, I was like, okay, this is building, this is getting somewhere. Then the imprisonment was happening, and I was kind of like, I don't know. But then afterwards, the way that it all sort of ended out, we had Michonne saying, listen, we're not going to kill him. Like, let's move forward from this. It doesn't need to be this way. And it ended well.
I think it ended well enough. I don't know what they're going to do with Virgil moving forward on this show, if really anything. It's just sort of like, I love Kevin Carroll as an actor. He's like great in everything, and
He's great.
I want the best for Kevin Carroll, and I'm just sort of like, okay, I still don't have a great sense of who Virgil is from all of this, because I think they went in so many different directions, and I understand this is not the Virgil episode, but I think this could have been, like, all the Michonne stuff was really strong, and I was great in everything they gave her, and I think we did get this sort of beautiful reminder of everything that she's been through. It is just interesting to me that almost all of our scenes in the present are with this guy who we did not know at all before the start of season 10.
No, and I would be shocked if we ever saw him again. Like, he was really a vessel to be able to bring her to this point, that we did get to see sort of what her life would have been like if she had chosen the other side and she hadn't met Rick first, and what it would have been like for her, and how drastically her life changed because of the people that she met.
Let me ask you this. Do you think this episode would have been stronger if she went back and saw a lot of people again before she ended up going up north? Like, do you think we needed a
No.
Daryl and Michonne scene?
No,
Okay, I am of two minds about this because I think logically this is the thing that makes the most sense. And, she's not going to go back there then to just leave again and head up north.
No, and also I think she thinks she's coming back. Like, I don't think she's got off that phone call or that walkie call with her daughter and felt like, I'm never going to see you again. I'm never going to talk to you again. I think she thinks she's either going to find Rick and bring him back, or she's going to get as far as she can and then she's going to come back. I don't think she needed to go back and say goodbye to anybody, because I think in her mind it's not goodbye, it's see you for now.
I think that's why I'm so mixed up about it, because logically you're totally right, and I think that's the right thing for the show to do. But then I just have this hole in my heart where I'm just like, I want Daryl and Michonne. I love their friendship. Can I have more of this? Can I have more of that?
And that's why it was so difficult also watching in these like flashbacks, I guess we'll call it, of the alternate universe, and watching Daryl shoot her.
I know, and I mean, it's like, this is one of my last memories of Daryl and Michonne now, is that pretend Daryl shooting her, which is not ideal.
No, it's not, but at least they put some skin in the game with that. I mean, that, again, could have been one of those moments like you were saying, if we saw Michonne choose Daryl or choose Rick or choose whoever, that people wouldn't forgive her for this sort of alternate universe sort of thing. But people are going to forgive Daryl for shooting Michonne. I mean, Michonne's an important character, too, that people love. But, it was an alternate universe.
It would, and it would be okay. And, I'm not okay with Michonne leaving. I'm sad about it. Yeah. I understand it. Denai's been on this show forever. She's doing, like, a million different things. Yep. So, it happens. It is The Walking Dead. There is still hope, but for now, I think we have to say goodbye to Michonne.
Yeah, hopefully in the Rick Grimes movies.
We shall see.
Somewhere down the line.
But let us know, do you think The Walking Dead handled Michonne's exit perfectly? Do you think we'll see her again on the show itself, or is this just a Rick Grimes movies only now? Let us know in the comments, and if you did like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.